Release. Oh, she's fine one.
Can you see him now? Hey, what's up? My favorite feeling, I think, in the whole world is like on a warm day and that cool breeze that blows from wherever it blows over the water. And it just gives you that thing. Michael Walter Syracuse, Buffalo, New York, 1960. Inner city, small Catholic church, altar boy. Now I remember really clearly one day, it was USC-UCLA football game. So it was a Saturday afternoon, but it was really cold out. I had delivered papers that morning. And I just remember seeing the USC Song Girls, the sunshine, and somebody smiling, and I said, that's where I'm going. And I just decided I was gonna go to California. I think my brother said, well, how are you gonna get there? And I said, I'm gonna join the Navy. And I was 13. And that really was as much thought as I gave it. I just said, yep, I'm gonna do that. I enlisted in the Navy and boot camp started in September of '78. 12 months later, I was hanging out of a helicopter doing my first rescue. In the morning of September 10th, my interest was getting you kids off to school, you and your brother. And on the September 11th, just another Tuesday, was the same thing. I was just retiring out of the military and I was contemplating a couple of different job offers. And I remember watching it, the second airplane flying into the building. And that afternoon it became very clear to me what I was going to do. And accepted a job offer to do some work with the Defense Advanced Research Program Agency focused on counterterrorism. That was the afternoon of September 11th. And I felt like it was the right thing to do. We built the foundations for what has become the NSA network now for surveillance. At the time, I was proud as hell to be part of it. I mean, it was a calling. It was like Pearl Harbor. It was the Manhattan Project for the digital age. And I believe that the program that I started supporting back then, that was the beginnings of all this, was the right program. And it was structured correctly, and it had all the right provisions in place. I would come later to find out nothing's as it seems in the District of Columbia. Nothing. People say that all the time, but it's true. Nothing.
So when you say nothing's as it seems, then what was it? What did it become?
Money. Well, I didn't know it at the time, but I was entering really into the abyss of the military-industrial complex. I mean, it could be argued that it's one of the biggest entitlement programs in the United States government. And especially from 2001 to 2011, the money was just handed out, like in massive sums. And at the time, I didn't recognize that. I just knew that there was, 9/11 had happened and there was a mission to do.
What was it exactly that you did in a way that people can understand? I mean, you talk about...
Well, you have to roll back into my military experience. I did search and rescue, I did air traffic control, I did tactical air traffic control, I did P3 piloting, so I did all of that stuff. And a big part of that was ASW, anti-submarine warfare. I mean, I got involved in the work because I knew how to chase submarines from a pilot's perspective. chasing submarines and chasing terrorists isn't really that much different. So we basically played terrorists. We said, hey, if you want to run an airplane into a nuclear power plant, what do you actually have to do to be able to do that? And then we would just look for those signatures across databases. Bottom line.
So when you say a signature, you mean a record
Somebody
of
by
activity?
a record of activity. Yes, a record of activity that someone had taken a specific action that, if put together with other specific actions, would say, hey, this guy may be doing something that leads us to believe that he may be a terrorist. Well, in 2004, that was a pretty big idea. 2014, we almost kind of come to accept it. My question now in 2014 is, how far are we going to let this go?